Well, you're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, we'll talk to a local expert for insurance advice in the wake of last week's storms.
Also, the new budget resolution may be facing some backlash as it's passed to the House.
And while it certainly looks nice outside, it is a bit on the cold side. We'll have a look at that forecast, talk about some warmer weather. That was a big bird. Talk about warmer weather on the way coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner, just coming up on 7:01 now on this Monday, April the 7th. That was a large bird right there.
It really was.
A big bird. So it was not big bird, but it was a big.
Yes.
So yeah, but the good news is at least our weather is calming down because while you were gone last week, it just got wild there for a while.
Really put you all through it. Unbelievable to see some of that. Well, since we did have our fair share of severe weather in the 4 states, a lot of tree limbs and other debris gets scattered across lawns.
But if that tree falls on your home or vehicle, which insurance company foots the bill? KOAM's Lonnie Walton spoke with local experts for advice.
I've had several of those happen. Most of them are live trees.
Richard Lippett is the owner of Lippett Insurance in Grove, Oklahoma. With over 39 years of experience in the insurance industry, he says he deals with falling tree claims like the back of his hand.
Neighbor across the fence, tree blows over, lands on his roof and damages the fence, and he wants to know if the neighbor should fix it. He thinks the neighbor should fix it.
And there may be others who may think that as well, but according to Lippett, if it falls on your property, you're out of luck.
It could be a tree half a mile away from a tornado that fell on your house. If you want your house or your car covered, you need to have insurance on your own house and your own car.
And since 2 insurance companies are usually involved in these incidents, we got a second opinion. Andy Queen from Farmers Insurance in Joplin says,
it falls over and it's due from storm, wind, or something like that, a tornado, lightning, something like that. It's on your own insurance.
And although it is your responsibility most of the time if a tree falls on your property, our expert says there are some times when it's not.
It is dead, and you've noticed it and you've told the neighbor or whatever.
There's possibly some negligence on your neighbor's side, and he could be responsible for that tree falling on your property.
If it makes it any more easier for you, our experts say the insurance companies will deal with it anyway. Reporting in Joplin, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Now, Queen and Lippett say you can't find out where trees or any debris truly come from all the time, which is probably why your insurance is reliable for your own belongings.
Certainly so.
Yes.
And a lot of things there. It's actually something that's come up, when we bought our house,
Right.
Our old house that we were renting was in the tornado zone. So we had no trees on our property and few around that had regrown. Our new home has plenty of trees, and it started making me wonder. I'm like, this is a grown-up kind of thing now.
Yes.
What happens if this tree falls over? So I'm going to try and prevent the tree from falling over if I can. But the good news is we don't have anything like that to worry about over the next several days. Get an opportunity, especially for those folks impacted by the severe weather, to do some cleanup without Mother Nature interfering. The only interference is the cold temperatures. Let's start with that look outside downtown Pittsburgh. Sun is rising, and as I mentioned, it is quite cold this morning. MoDOT camera 20th in range line. Looking back toward that sunrise as well, it looks nice, but again, the temperatures, they're not so nice, which is why these are here. These are freeze warnings that will continue through about 9 o'clock this morning, and then they will resume late this evening into tomorrow morning because we've got at least one more really cold night ahead of us before the more pleasant temperatures return. Now, by the afternoon, we're not that bad, actually. Take a look. We have sunny skies. Temperatures are mild. It's not too breezy. It's a pretty nice day, but we've still got a northerly breeze. We have a little cold front that's going to push through tonight, and that's why overnight tonight our temperatures will drop again. And then tomorrow things will change. Low to mid 30s out there for the majority of us. In fact, we've all made it back into the 30s. We've had some upper 20s here and there. That should not be there. I thought I unchecked that box. I did not. So, okay, sorry about that. Low mid 60s today. Northwest winds about 5 to 10 miles an hour. So absolutely beautiful day. Warmer air continues across the area. In fact, will be much warmer heading into the weekend. Details on that in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, heavy rain from this weekend caused flooding in parts of southwest Missouri, including in McDonald County. The deputy sheriff for McDonald County says after the rain began on Friday, roads in the east and central part of town were among the area that had flooding. Now, also, the Elk River has risen to a higher level than usual as a result of the rain. He says one of his concerns when the water rises is it takes a lot of debris like broken trees with it and leaves them behind throughout town. The deputy sheriff says because of the flooding on Saturday, they had a few water rescues. The fire department, ambulance, and local law enforcement responded to them. As far as he knows, there are no injuries or fatalities.
We've got the Elk River runs through here, so a lot of that's really up. The river's been so low, but now we get all this rain and it's a rapid increase of flooding, rapid increase in the water levels.
Now, the deputy sheriff reminds people that if you see flooding on the road, don't try to drive through it. He says it's best to turn around. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, the Senate approved its version of a budget resolution on Saturday. Now, House Republicans are urging their fellow GOP members to be on board to adopt it. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera has more from Washington.
The House is set to take up the Senate's budget framework this week, but some GOP members are already criticizing the budget resolution, signaling it may have trouble getting passed. Part of the problem has to do with the cuts the Senate is proposing. The Senate is calling for $4 billion in spending cuts, far lower than the $1.5 to $2 trillion the House wanted to slash when it passed its budget resolution in February. Republican Maryland Congressman Andy Harris says, "I can't support House passage of the Senate changes to our budget resolution until I see the actual spending and deficit reduction plans to enact President Trump's America First agenda." But House GOP leaders, including House Speaker Mike Johnson, are urging rank-and-file Republicans to unify. In a letter, they state, although the Senate chose to take a different approach on its instructions, the amended resolution in no way prevents us from achieving our goals in the final reconciliation bill. They insist this is one of the first steps of a long process, but one that is necessary to ultimately allow Republicans to greenlight the president's priorities with a simple majority in the Senate.
People are going to look at the Senate budget and say, you're not reducing enough spending on this. We got to reduce a lot more spending. And we're all nodding our heads going, yes, we do have to reduce a lot. But a budget bill, as it comes out, is this wide framework to say, let's get started. It's just a framework. The next stage is when we go on to the details.
GOP leaders are hoping to hand a bill for the president to sign by Memorial Day. In Washington, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
And those are our top news stories this half hour. Coming up next, we'll hear how you can support those with vision impairments at the annual Spaghetti Red and Soup fundraiser later on this week. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. We'll be right back. Well, the Joplin Association for the Blind and Low Vision annual Spaghetti Red and Soup fundraiser is set to help our area this week. Now we have Stephanie Van, one of the event organizers, with us this morning to share how the proceeds from the fundraiser help the organization with its mission. Good morning, Stephanie.
Good morning.
Happy to have you with us.
Well, thank you for having us.
Of course, it's that time of year again. How are you feeling?
Just seems like we just did this. But yes, well, feeling a little stressed and all, because it's the week of. So, but
it's an important event.
Yes.
Before we go into the event, talk to me a little bit, for those who might not know, what the mission of your organization is, not only helping those in Joplin, but the entire four-state community.
Absolutely. We want anyone who has vision issues, if it's blindness, we can probably, refer them to where, they would need to be if they needed cane travel or those types of things. And the Low Vision Center, we have magnification aids, devices, electronics, those types of things to help individuals right there at the center. So we do low vision evaluations, and that's open to anyone, to anyone.
Wonderful, wonderful work. And to do that fantastic work, you need funds. And that means with that comes the annual fundraiser. So talk to me a little bit about this.
Okay, this coming Thursday, once again, here we go. It's a spaghetti red, or chili, or veggie soup. So, and we will have vegetarian vegetable as well. So we'd love everyone to come out, support the efforts. It helps us with our low vision center and our transportation that we provide, to come to our facility to do the things that we have there to do. And we serve a lunch on Tuesdays for the blind and visually impaired. So it's just something to get them out and bring them in and have them be together and discuss some of the things that they really, maybe they have an issue with something and we can help them then with whatever that might be.
Perfect. Great sense of community there. Now, if people want to come out to the fundraiser this Thursday, where and when will it be?
Okay, it's going to be at the Joplin Association for the Blind at 311 South Schifferdecker. I always like to say the northeast corner of 4th and Schifferdecker. I mean,
that's pretty good, yeah.
It's simple. And it's $8 for adults and $4 for children under 12. Those that we would just love for you to come out, and so maybe we can talk with you while you're there and, let you know exactly what it is we have going on there.
Well, wonderful. Well, a fantastic organization, a fantastic fundraiser. Good luck this year. Happy to have you, Stephanie. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
And to, of course, learn more about the organization, you can visit their website at ja4blind.org. And Chris will have a full look at your forecast when we come back. Stick around.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News 7:16 on this Monday morning. We've got a beautiful sunrise downtown Pittsburgh. However, it is a bit on the cold side this morning. Beautiful sunrise too from Modoc camera, 20th and range line in Joplin. Looking fairly good so far. Unfortunately, it is chilly. We also have some patchy fog out there. Iola, you're down now just under 7 miles of visibility. And similar situations right around Grand Lake down to Miami, Grove stretching over toward Anderson, so 69 parts of 60. Just slow down, give yourself time to get where you're going. Watch out for areas of possibly patchy, dense fog, as that is a possibility. We also have these freeze warnings. They continue through about 9 o'clock this morning, and then they will rejoin us late this evening into tomorrow morning because, well, it's going to be cold again tonight into tomorrow. But ahead of that, or between here and there, it's going to be a pretty decent day. We have a light northwest breeze. We'll have plentiful sunshine. Temperatures considerably warmer than where they were yesterday. Just absolutely perfect weather. Now, of course, without the clouds, there's nothing to keep the warmer air in. And on top of that, we have a weak cold front, nothing expected with it. But it will bring in they'll bring us that next round of cold air tonight. But worry not. Tomorrow morning, the winds shift out of the east, and then by the afternoon, they shift out of the south, and that sends temperatures a bit warmer for us as we start to go into the upper 60s. We go into Tuesday night and then to Wednesday morning. We got a few clouds out there, but take a look at those temperatures at 5 a.m. on Wednesday. It certainly beats where we are right now, as we're in the low 50s. We'll have that south wind. Might be gusty at times as we go through Wednesday, but otherwise, again, not a bad day. And because we're going to start warmer and we got a good south breeze, it is going to be even warmer as we head into the afternoon and evening hours. Take a look at that. All of us getting in on the low 70s now, and maybe even some upper 70s off to the west. There's that sunrise right now from 7th and Range Line in Joplin. It's 33. It's cold. The winds are calm. And I mentioned that earlier, going out this morning, heading out for that morning soda and everything, because, like I need more. But even in the 30s, without the wind, it wasn't too terrible. It was cold, but it wasn't that awful out there without that breeze. As we look at temperatures around the area, we're into the low to mid 30s for everyone now. We've had a couple of 29s here and there, but we're all at least into the 30-degree range and about 235. That's where we're starting our day, mid 30s. We'll eventually make the low 50s by 11 o'clock this morning with those sunny skies, while the northwest breeze at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. And we'll have those clear skies, mild temperatures, low to mid 60s. Kids yesterday, they wanted to go outside, and I told them it's too cold. And of course, they're like, it's not that cold. You don't realize it. Yeah, maybe it isn't, but then you get sick and you realize how cold it really was. But they will be pleasantly surprised this week, and you will as well, when we take a look at the extended forecast. Into the evening we go. Clear skies, of course, back down around freezing. East winds at 5 to 10. Now, look at this. Beautiful weather returns, calm weather returns, and we've got temperatures cruising in the low 70s, upper 70s, low 80s by the weekend, maybe a shower or two Sunday afternoon. Not that bad. Temperatures staying mild into the next work week. That is a check of your forecast. We are back with more right after this.
We have Jacob Conklin joining us this morning to discuss the mission of Counseling Associates of the 4 states and some of the services that they're offering. Good morning to you, Jacob. Thank you for joining us this morning. Happy to have you. So talk to me a little bit about the Counseling Associates of the 4 states and how you help the community.
Sure. So we're a mental health clinic that's been around since 2008. I recently took over in 2023 from Deanna Street. I worked for her for a number of years, and she decided to kind of step back, and she wanted somebody to kind of carry on the vision of it. And so she asked me if I would do that. And so since we've done that, we've been growing, and we are excited to announce that we have added 6 new offices.
That's fantastic.
Yep. And so whenever I took over, we had about 7 providers. We're looking at about 19 providers now. And so we've really kind of almost tripled our size, and it's really amazing because I feel like now we're really able to offer so much more diversity when it comes to really meeting clients where their needs are and finding them a fit. So whenever they come to our place, they're really allowed to kind of get a little bit of information from our front staff about all of our different therapists, and then we are able to kind of place them with somebody that they feel they elect or kind of choose to be the person for them, right? And so counseling can be very much about fit, and we're very, very excited that we're continuing to grow to really service that need for everybody.
That's fantastic. Congratulations. And speaking on that growth, you're also adding a variety of different services as well. Would you be able to touch on any of those for us?
Absolutely. So it's really wonderful. We're actually bringing on a nurse practitioner to the practice, so that's a big announcement for us. So we're able to do med management in-house now instead of needing to refer out, and that really allows us to be very client-centered and really focus on treating the client and not just symptom abatement when it comes to, medication potentially having some utility. So really it's an amazing opportunity for us to be a one-stop shop where people can really, work to get their mental health needs serviced alongside something like medicine if that is necessary. So we're not necessarily, a proponent of just throwing medicine at everything. However, if there is an opportunity for that to be something that can have some effect, we have the ability to really work hand in hand with, the prescribing side to really hopefully, provide the best outcomes for people. So that's one service. One more service that we're really excited to roll out is we have a big group now. A group room actually, and so we're rolling out a couple different groups. The community kind of has a lack of group counseling, and I think it could be very effective when used properly. And so we have a couple different groups that we're rolling out, one for women's health, one for adults or parents, caregivers that have kiddos with special needs, so support groups for them. And then we also have some maybe men's health groups that we're starting to look at too. So group counseling, med management, and then adding so many more different therapists. We're very excited to continue to meet the demand. The demand just won't stop, and now we have the opportunity to kind of service that in a better way without having to turn people away. So if you're looking for services, this is the best time. Probably there has never been a better time. So please reach out to us and let us show you what we're all about.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. This renovation announcement that you're having on April 11th, can you talk to me about that a little bit?
Yeah, so I'm going to do a ribbon cutting with the chamber. I haven't organized that final day yet just because we're buttoning up the last little piece of this renovation. And so we're very, very excited. All of our providers are going through this credentialing process, which can take a little bit of time, but they're all very, very close to being at the end of that. And so we do service insurance. We service Medicaid and Medicare now, which we hadn't historically. And so we're excited about that. And then we pretty much all the heavy hitting insurances that we see in the community, we get credentialed for and we service. And so very excited to feel like, I guess, no matter what insurances you might have, you can find somebody at our place that will hopefully be able to provide that service. We also do telehealth too, so that was one thing that I think those here to stay, I guess, since the pandemic. We have telehealth services that are pretty much provided year-round anytime now, and those will also be reimbursed by insurances. And so please, we have some rural areas in the community. If you can't make it to Joplin, we have providers that are licensed in multiple states because we are so close to our neighboring states. And so telehealth has been a huge advent for us to kind of expand and really be able to service individuals that might not be able to make it in, or that just maybe live a little bit of a distance away where they don't have as many therapists in their community.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Well, a lot of important work being done in the community. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. Of course, to learn more about the organization, you can visit their website at counselingjoplin.com. Stick around. We'll be right back.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:29, just coming up on 7:30. I'm Elise Snowy. The murky weather didn't stop the Community Business, Health and Job Expo in McDonald County, Missouri on Saturday. The event, put on by the McDonald County Chamber of Commerce, hosted booths from local businesses, schools, nonprofits, and healthcare providers. Now, it served as a way for people to not only learn about goods and services, but to also seek employment opportunities.
Just the community to work together and be together, do some things together. That's the biggest thing that Chamber does, is try to drive people together to where it helps the county grow, helps the business grow. And the only way to do that is to get them together to talk about it.
52 organizations attended the fair. Well, the spring Shop Hop is back for another year in downtown Webb City. Participating stores offer discounts and deals. Every purchase made earned an entry into a drawing for a grand prize Shop Hop gift basket. Participating stores included Cool School Shop, Grandparents Boutique, Paint Chips, and Glitter Boutique.
We hope that the customers actually learn that Webb City downtown is growing, and we take pride in our community, and we are offering, we all have a little bit different things in our stores to offer.
Well, some stores even had participating pop-up vendors. The Cornell Complex caps off its 2024-25 Ignite series with Pirate School Sea of Dreams. Pirate Professor Bones teaches kids lessons about social courage, curiosity, and adventure. Professor Bones also teaches kids about some pirate history and some science as well.
There are studies that show that kids that come to live, theater or music shows, they really retain the information better than when they just watch it on a screen. And so we really enjoy, helping people learn that and provide those opportunities.
The Ignite series will return this upcoming September. Now let's head over to Chris for a quick look at your forecast.
Look outside in downtown Pittsburgh. Skies are clear, but temperatures are quite cold this morning. Same for the MoDOT camera at 20th and Range Line in Joplin, pointing back directly to the sun there. So you can tell, very sunny skies for us. Freeze warnings continue through 9 o'clock this morning. Then they will resume late tonight and run through tomorrow morning as well, as we've got another cold night out there. But into the afternoon, we've got a sunny and warm day. It does not get much better than this until you see the extended forecast a little later, and you'll see just how much warmer it can get. This morning, though, it is cold. We are into the low to mid 30s. Miami, Grove now coming back down. You're both at 28. We got 29 in Chatopa, some of the colder spots out there this morning. Highs today, low to mid 60s. Again, sunny. Northwest winds around 5 to 10 miles an hour. As I mentioned, much warmer weather on the way. We will go over those details with you in the full forecast, and that's coming up here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, relentless rain and severe thunderstorms have swept through parts of the central U.S. And the 5-day string of storms has triggered historic flooding and tornadoes. At least 17 people have died across multiple states. Jen Sullivan has the details on the damage.
Days of powerful storms pummeling much of the central U.S. have left a path of destruction. Torrential rain has fallen across the Mid-South since Wednesday, measuring more than a foot in some areas. In Kentucky, many roads are underwater, with some communities swamped.
I've been an emergency manager in Woodford County for greater than 20 years, and I don't ever remember this much water.
In the small town of Hardy in northern Arkansas, the relentless rain has caused the Spring River to spill over the banks surrounding homes. Some structures, all you can see are the roofs.
We're just getting a lot of water right now, and with the continuation of the rainfall, plus what is continuing to fall north of us, all that water's got to go somewhere.
In Memphis, Tennessee, cars left stranded after this road flooded. And in Nashville, a river of water in these front yards, leaving feet of water in many basements.
We have a little one and a dog, and my husband and I kind of just kept, all we could do was watch all this rushing water.
The string of storms also triggering tornadoes. This family in Senatobia, Mississippi has lost everything.
We were all in shock. Very hard. It's hard to talk about it.
And the threat isn't over yet. Roughly 22 million people are under flood watches in the Tennessee and Ohio valleys, the Central Appalachians, and the Southeast Sunday. I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. One museum in California displays a unique collection of corporate failures. Well, residents in Southeast Kansas will have an opportunity to visit with representatives from the Library of Congress. KOAM's Samantha Walker sat down with an education specialist to see how they're working to preserve our nation's history.
Can you tell us a little bit about this exciting program that the Library of Congress is doing in partnership with the Kansas Department of Education?
You bet. So we are coming to Girard. We're going to be in Girard April 7th and 8th. On the 7th, we're doing a program for teachers in the Pittsburgh-Girard area at Greenbush. And we're going to be working with teachers actually K through 12 and showing them how to use the resources of the Library of Congress for their instructional purposes. And we do that by modeling teaching strategies and showing how to access different resources. We're working with the Kansas State Department of Education to make this program possible for the educators in the area. And this will be our third town that we're visiting in the state of Kansas. We're doing a 4-town visit in Kansas for this school year.
Amazing. And so there's also an event that's open for not even just teachers, but maybe community members who just maybe want to learn more about genealogy or history in general.
Yeah. So when we started working with KSDE on this program, we were very interested in working with rural communities. And part of that was so that we could bring resources from the Library of Congress to rural communities and the public at large. So at each town that we're going to, we're doing a public event. And in Girard on the 8th of April, we will be at the Girard Public Library from 10 to 6 o'clock. And every hour on the hour, we will be doing a different presentation. And they'll be short, generally 20 to 30 minutes, talking about specific resources and specific collections that would be of interest to people doing all different kinds of research, but mainly on a local level. So people who are interested in genealogy will have a session on that. We have a session on the historic newspapers. The Library of Congress has an amazing collection called Chronicling America of newspapers from around the country. And as a matter of fact, Kansas has 82 different newspaper titles as part of that collection. So we'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about agriculture. We'll be talking about some great programs. The Veterans History Project is a phenomenal resource of the Library of Congress. And it's also a place where we want the community to get involved in collecting the oral histories of our veterans. So we'll be talking about that program, and we'll also be talking about the transcription project, which is called By the People, and this is transcribing materials from the library. So again, it's transactional as well. So we look for community members to work with the institution, and we like to bring the resources of the institution. Everything that we do is free. There's no sign up. There's no login. And we just want to make sure people know about these resources.
Well, it sounds like such a great program for people to be a part of. If they're sitting at home watching this and they said, this is definitely something I want to be a part of, is there a certain place they can go to learn some more information about these events coming up to Girard?
So the Girard Public Library should have this posted to their website, and it will highlight the schedule that we have available. As I said, every hour on the hour, we'll be starting at 10:30 at Girard Public Library on our first session. Let me just confirm that is indeed the time. It'll be 10 o'clock, actually, we start. Our first session will be on the historical newspapers that I mentioned. So yeah, definitely stop by. We'd love to see you. We had a great turnout out in Scott City when we were here in February, and we got to meet people who were from the DAR, who were interested in veterans history, people who were interested in agricultural history. And I suspect that Girard will have a similar audience. And we look forward to hearing about Girard's history and Pittsburgh's history and the communities that are represented around the area. So we learn as much as our audience learns.
Well, great. Well, thank you so much, Kathleen, for taking the time to speak with us today. And I hope you have a great turnout for your event.
Thank you.
The education specialist will be available to the public tomorrow, Tuesday, April 8th, from 10 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News just after 7:45 on this Monday morning. Again, starting quickly with the fog tracker. We do have some slightly reduced visibilities around Iola, Yates Center, and then slightly more so Anderson, Miami, Grove, right around the Grand Lake area. So do keep that in mind as you're heading out. We also have these brightly colored freeze warnings, and they are in place through about 9 o'clock this morning. Then they go away, and then late this evening into tomorrow morning, they will make an unpleasant return. So again, with your tender vegetation, do what you can to protect it. I know you can't wrap up an entire tree, but you could certainly try with what you can take care of. But the good news is after this, we have no more freezing nights, at least not in the near term. Down the road, Future Track this afternoon, sunny. Clear. There's nothing on it but wind arrows. And if there weren't any wind arrows on it, it would look even way stranger. But after the last week we've had, it's nice to see a little bit of a break. Now, with those clouds you saw, it's a cold front that's going to push through. Not a major one, nothing big, but it is just enough to help us tonight drop back around freezing, which is why those freeze warnings will go back into effect again. However, tomorrow, by the afternoon, those winds are going to change direction up out of the south. And take a look at our temperatures, a wee bit warmer. Bartlesville maybe even in the low 70s by tomorrow evening. And you know what else is going to happen? Temperatures aren't going to stop there. They're going to continue to rise. Partly cloudy skies heading into Wednesday morning. We're starting our Wednesday in the low 50s instead of the low 30s. Which is a nice change in pace. Still partly cloudy, but take a look by noon. Upper 50s, low 60s, which you know what that means by the afternoon and evening. Low to mid 70s, maybe even some upper 70s out there. And that warming trend does not stop there, believe it or not. Quick look outside. Clear skies over Joplin. A bit chilly though, 33. Good news is the winds are calm, so that's some good news. Doesn't feel any colder than what it already is this morning. We have some cold spots out there as well. We've got Miami sitting at 29. And taking a quick scan, I see that Miami right now is the cold spot at 29 degrees. But eventually we all will start our day right around the mid-30s, eventually in the low 50s by 11 o'clock. And again, it looks so beautiful outside. It's cold right now, but doesn't it just looks with the sun and all that, just looks nice. It's a nice day. All right, into the afternoon we go. Even nicer, low to mid 60s, northwest winds around 5 to 10 miles an hour. Clear skies through the evening. Temperatures drop to about freezing. Boo. All right, then east breeze around 5 to 10 miles an hour. Now, I hope you've got your clapping hands ready. If I had a drum roll, we would have it, but take a look at this. Well, hold on, you gotta wait a second. Okay, there we go. Now look at all those temperatures. Take a look. Low 70s, upper 70s, low 80s, maybe a stray shower or two. And then we change sides. Next week, still mid to upper 70s, had some low 70s. Absolutely beautiful weather and a nice break from whatever it was we did last week to upset Mother Nature. Because again, seriously, a very rough week for many folks last week. Thankfully, we're going to get a little bit of a pause and an opportunity to dry out over the next several days as well. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more right after this.
A legal dispute is unfolding over the newly opened Museum of Failure in San Francisco, California.
A museum showcases all of the product flops from fish-flavored cat water to the hula chair. Zach Sauce reports.
Whoever thought that Colgate would have a lasagna?
David Barry offering a sneak peek of the newest addition to San Francisco's Fisherman's Wharf, the Museum of Failure.
The Euro putter. That's kind of cute.
Designed for those who just had to go at par 5.
You're supposed to pee in the top.
But amidst the celebration of all things defunct, a battle is brewing.
We are the only true failure museum. We have the legal papers to prove it.
The pop-up museum, owned by Sea Global, pitted against a man named Samuel West, who operates the site museumoffailure.com and originally came up with the whole concept.
Credit where credit was due. Guy from Sacramento moved to Sweden and he had the idea.
But Perry says Sea Global, which originally partnered with West, has the trademark for the name. The dispute coming to a head after West began allegedly calling the San Francisco Museum a fraud.
We have sued Dr. West and he has since disappeared and we can't find him to serve him papers.
The SF Museum confident that West will be on the failing side of all this, now moving full steam ahead with their launch.
The opening of Failure is a success tonight.
Among those arriving for the soft launch, Lori Gossi.
There's just so many different things here, and it's fascinating. It's like something I never knew existed.
Right next to her, a precursor to the laser mask craze.
And you put it on your face, and it had electric charges, and it was supposed to make you look 10 years younger. It burned women.
Speaking of the burn, how about burning those calories on the hula chair?
Theoretically, you're supposed to be exercising your core, well, running board meetings and things. As you can see, it's an utter failure.
The museum's array of failures seemingly endless, and according to the museum's owner, something that should be celebrated.
The message here with this museum is that it is okay to fail.
And as this visitor points out, perhaps no better place to celebrate just that than in the Bay Area.
People want to know, why did that fail? It's almost like a badge of honor.
A badge of honor is one way to put it.
Certainly so. Honestly, I could go for the hula chair. I sitting still sometimes, it's fun. Tough. Yeah, it seems like a good idea.
Yeah.
I don't know. Certainly an interesting museum that you'll have to check out if you're ever out west. Our temperatures, spring is a little bit in the Museum of Failure, but don't worry, it will redeem itself in the next couple of days. One last check of that fog tracker. Again, we have some patchy dense fog around the Grand Lake area and around Iola. And then our freeze warnings continue through 9 this morning. They will resume again later tonight into tomorrow morning. Between here and there, temperatures nice, plentiful sunshine, a light northwesterly breeze. Cold front pushes through late this evening and overnight. That's what makes those temperatures a little colder, and then we are on the rebound to much warmer temperatures as we head into Tuesday, and even warmer after that. We'll have another look at your forecast and the news you need to know right after this.
And here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A heavy rain from this weekend caused flooding in parts of southwest Missouri, including in McDonald County. The deputy sheriff says one of his concerns when the water rises is the debris that gets brought in and left behind. The deputy sheriff reminds people that if you see flooding on the road, don't try to drive through it and that it's best to turn around. Well, many are dealing with the aftermath of last week's storms, and while cleanup efforts are underway when it comes to insurance, it can be confusing to know what will and will not be covered. Experts say that it's always a good idea to check with your agency before turning in a claim.
And we've got an opportunity to clean up now without Mother Nature interfering. We've got sunny skies, low to mid 60s out there, northwest winds 5 to 10. Freeze warnings will go back into effect overnight tonight because eventually we fall back right around freezing with east winds at 5 to 10. Clear skies today, tonight, tomorrow, partly cloudy Wednesday, even warmer. And that warming trend continues into the weekend, upper 70s, maybe even some low 80s by next Sunday.
All righty, it looks pretty good.
It does indeed.
Good.
Well, thank you all so much for letting us put the good into your morning. We will be back with more news and weather today at noon.
We sure will. Have a great rest of your morning.